not California.
Oh god, you're gonna trigger Puddin with that.
There's no way Putin likes the California.
Is Lazo worth the coal? Lazo's worth the coal if you've got nothing else to spend your coal on. If you already have if you have coal, the first place you should spend it on is getting loot yens and the rest of the commanders that are available for coal. Then you buy the ships. And I've got a YouTube video um, where I discuss the commanders and why the commanders are so important. Thank you
I've
for the follow.
decided there's only one answer for the Tier 7 battleship.
Well,
Hyuga.
okay, so all due respect, optics, you're wrong. Ashitaka is nice. I like Ashitaka. She's an Amagi at tier 7. She's the a-hole Amagi. Good guns, good speed, decent armor. To me, the bee's knees is the Scharnhorst. You have to have the Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst needs to be on every person's port. If the Scharnhorst is not in your port, buy it now if you've got the doubloons. Okay? What makes the Scharnhorst so great is she's fast, she's maneuverable, her turrets swivel very quickly. She's got torpedoes, she's got secondaries. The only thing that hampers Scharnhorst is her low caliber main battery, 283mm guns. They will not pen battleships unless you really up close, or you hit them in the bow, stern, superstructure. So with Scharnhorst, you will HE shoot at battleships, especially if you're down tiered. You're in a tier 9 game. But cruisers you can slap. Destroyers you can absolutely slap, and you got the secondaries. It's just a very comfortable, fun ship. Another one of those ships that has aged quite well in this game. California. Puddin loves California. Just about everybody else hates California. She's slow, she's sluggish, she takes damage, she just eats damage for breakfast because she's just so thick.
If you
Florida.
want one of the American battleships, like Florida's just better in every way, in my opinion.
God, yes. God, yes. Thank you. Florida is a lot of fun. Florida is, I can't remember if it's the North Carolina hull or South Dakota hull. I think it's North Carolina hull. But what they did was they brought lower caliber guns on her, but there's 4 of them instead of a triple turret. These guns can and will punch holes in things. It gets cruisers. I've seen Florida's just, and I've done it myself, just completely nuke cruisers. Her secondaries are good. The big thing about Florida is, like Scharnhorst, she's very maneuverable. Strassbourg, it goes back to what I said about the Toulon. It's just a battleship version. Boring in my opinion. I ignore her. Now, Hyuga. Optics, you said Hyuga was your pick. Why is Hyuga your pick?
Um, so like you just mentioned the Strasbourg, right? The big thing the Strasbourg has going for it is a reload booster, and then they release Hyuga, which is just better and also has a reload booster. I think Hyuga has the highest battleship DPM at the tier. I'm not
Probably
100%
does.
sure on that. But I mean, you have it's really accurate. It's got
Mm-hmm.
really good range, and you have the reload booster, so you can really punish things.
So, you know the Issei in the game, the tier 6 hybrid battle carrier, whatever. The Hyuga is the original Issei. So you've got the 2 turrets in the front, they're twins. You got the 2 turrets behind the main bridge superstructure, and then you've got the final 2 turrets behind the aft superstructure. And so you've got the characteristics of the Fuso. I believe they're Fuso turrets from tier 6. But you slap on top of that a reload booster on the Hyuga. So you see an enemy that's broadside to you, you fire everything, and then you reload boost and you fire everything again. And you just destroy things. It's tougher to play than most other battleships that I've mentioned, simply because you have to time your reload booster properly. Also at tier 7, she's up against a lot of people that can do worse things to her because her armor scheme just isn't up to par once you get past tier 7 into the 8, 9, and 10. So that's the only real weakness for Hyuga. Yukon, I call it the Yukon because yuck, why would I play it? I don't care about Yukon. I don't care about it. I mean, it gets the heal much quicker. That's about it. I mean, why? I don't know. No. Collingwood. Collingwood is the Nelson. It's got a crazy super heal. It's got, you know, the same kind of turret layout. The difference between the Collingwood and Nelson is Collingwood's got 16-inch guns. Collingwood's got 18-inch. These things do stupid, stupid, stupid damage to enemy battleships. What? The armor scheme is ridiculous on it. It's such a long citadel. It gets citadel slapped very easily, and it just eats damage. So
I found Collingwood super fun last time I played tier 7 ranked.
it doesn't have a super hero? I thought it did. If you can hit
No,
your shots, it's great. If you can't,
it's
I mean, yeah.
it's kind of comfortable in like in game modes that have less people in them, like ranked, like a 6v6 for example, just because like there's less things that can just dumpster you in your bad
Yep.
armor. But
Yep.
like you can take a 1v1 with another battleship, and even though he like overmatches you everywhere, your DPM is just so good that you kill him before he kills you.
Right.
So it really lends itself to the smaller games, whereas like it's kind of miserable in like a full 12v12.
Right. Exactly. Hood is okay. She's fast. She's relatively maneuverable. Her guns were actually buffed a year and a half ago or something versus when she was originally released. That being said, I don't really feel like she brings that much to the table unless you really want a British premium battleship that you want to pay for. That would, in my opinion, be the reason you'd pick it up.
I feel like Rook just does what Hood does, but better now.
So what does?
The Rook, the tier 7
Oh,
UKBB from the new branch.
yeah. In other words, you can get a tech tree variant of this ship for free. So, why get this? And then we come up to the Duke of Yuck. I never connected with this ship. She's got the ability to run hydro and defensive anti-air. That's about it. I mean, she's a King George V class, so tier 7 tech tree, but she doesn't have the crazy fire chance and stuff like that. Her AP is that short fuse, which is great against like lightly armored targets like light cruisers and destroyers. Against battleships and heavy cruisers, it's harder. So, I don't know. I never liked it that much, but that's why I call it the Duke of Yuck. And Psychotica, thank you for the sub, dude. Appreciate that. Duke of Yuck, Hydro, and improved pen angles are great. Yeah, I mean you can get to it and you can kind of figure it out. But I put it in there with Collingwood, with Hyuga, with a lot of the other battleships here that you really have to know what you're doing because they play different than many other ones. I think if you're a newer player and you're more relaxed, then you're probably gonna enjoy Scharnhorst much more, right? You might enjoy Ashitaka more, Florida more. Maybe, Hyuga, of course. But I feel like Duke of Yuck, Hood, Collingwood, Strassbourg, Yukon, California, those are harder to play ships that require a lot more work. It's like driving an automatic car versus a manual. You want me to do tier 10 battleships in the Armory? Alright, King.